Hi, it's Tommy. Before we get started, I just want to let you know this episode is brought to you by Pod Hero, the easiest way to support your favorite podcast. Did you know that only 1% of the biggest podcasts make money? It's true. The other 99%, wink wink, like this one, rely on support from listeners like you. With Pod Hero, you can support all of your favorite podcasts with one monthly membership fee of only $4.99. Just click on the link in the show notes. Tell Pod Hero your favorite podcast. Please don't forget this one, Blending the Family. And your contribution gets shared between shows at the end of the month. I want to say I am enjoying being part of Pod Hero's network. Pod Hero works with almost all podcasts. There's a 0% platform fee. They don't take a cut. There are no contracts. And guess what? You can try it for free for 30 days. Pod Hero. Tell them Blending the Family sent you. Welcome to another... take two. Welcome to another edition of the podcast known as Blending the Family. I am your tongue-tied host, Tommy Maloney. Thanks for coming by. And if this is your first time coming to the podcast because you heard of the guest who was on this episode, thank you for coming over. Thanks for listening. Thanks for downloading. And you might be asking, Tommy, what is Blending the Family all about? Wow, great question. One of the things we talk about is the squeaky chair. I still have my old chair. Haven't gotten a new chair yet. But to answer your question, Blending the Family is from divorce to dating to eventually maybe you become a blended family after dating and finding yourself and learning new skills, not just jumping into the dating pool again, working on you. That's what we talk about from time to time here on Blending the Family, the podcast. We've also talked about what is a good wine on that first date after, a lengthy time of working on yourself. We've talked about co-parenting tips. We've talked about men's mental health. We've talked about diversity. We try. We don't try to cover it all. We just try and cover what's important to you. Okay? On this episode of the podcast, which is episode 162, super excited. And this is probably why you're here. You're here to listen to this episode with our guest, Christie Casciano Burns. She is an Emmy-nominated veteran anchor. She one-upped me. She is actually ridden with the Thunderbirds. However, there was two things we have in common. We've both driven, technically in the biz, I would say, is called a ice resurfacer, but you know it as the name brand of Zamboni. We've both driven Zambonis. We've also both driven, ready for this one? The Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. Yep. I know, the next time you see me, you're going to be like, Tommy, can I have your autograph? You've driven the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile. So Christie is on this episode. She's also a columnist for USA Hockey. She writes a column for the magazine, which is called Behind the Glass. She is a hockey mom and a convert from figure skating to hockey. She joined, as she would say in this episode, the dark side. But I digress. How are you doing? Are you doing well? It's summertime in parts of the country. It's hot. Matter of fact, it's really hot in our house. Our air conditioning is not working very well. My wife Ann and I and Otis, we ran an errand last night, and when we left the house was at 83 degrees. Inside. Right before I started recording this, it got down to 79. So part of my project today, other than mowing the yard, going for a walk is to find somebody to come and look at our furnace. Thank you. You're probably screaming, "Furnace, you idiot!" Well, thank you. Yes, I know I'm an idiot. What else is going on? If you follow me on the Instagram, Blending Family, you will see our puppy Otis, who has really been a puppy as of lately. I have new puppy bites all over my hands, and the puppy training is going. It's not going well, but it's going. Trying. It's fun. It really is fun. It really teaches you patience. It's, having a puppy is just like having a new baby. Teaches you patience. And occasionally my patience just run out where I have to walk away. I have to put myself in adult timeout, which essentially means I take Otis and I put him in his kennel, and so we both can just chill. Just chill. What else? I really don't have a lot to say other than I've got things I have to do, so I don't want to take away our conversation, but I really need to get the furnace fixed, so because we actually have company coming tonight. Anne's oldest daughter and her boyfriend are going to be here, and luckily they're staying in the basement where it's nice and cool. Anne and I watched, we watched the last episode, season 3 of The Good Place. Oh my gosh. One of our dear friends, Tracy, recommended that to me, and I am just, the writing of The Good Place was just phenomenal. Now I'm mad because season 4, the final season of The Good Place, is not on Netflix. It's not on Netflix. It might be, I guess it's supposed to be here this summer sometime, but oh my gosh, I got hooked. And I'm not a big TV watcher. For me, like Sundays, this is how I bookend my Sundays. First thing Sunday morning is the TV show, Sunday morning, and then the last TV show I watch, the only 2 TV shows I watch on Sundays, Sunday morning and 60 Minutes. That's how I bookend my Sundays. So I don't watch a lot of TV unless, like we're going to be talking today, unless it's hockey. Miss playing hockey. Speaking of hockey, all right, I do have some news. And that is, super proud of our kids. Becca is going to, she's going to be a freshman here locally at one of the universities. And then yesterday, the boy, aka Connor, called me. It was a shock. When my phone rings and it's him. I'm like, what's he calling? Like most parents, we always think the bad things. We think, what are they in trouble? How much money do they need? What's going on? But this was great news. This is great news. So, like I said, Becca is going to be attending university here in Colorado, but squeaky chair. Actually, let me just say, Ann and I are having our budget. We were supposed to have our budget meeting last night. Hopefully, we're going to have our budget meeting tonight, and we can get rid of this squeaky chair. But Connor called me to say that he was accepted he's got 2 schools in mind he graduates next year, 2021, from high school. But his first choice was taking early applications, and he called me to say he got accepted. I mean, he put an application on Monday, and yesterday being Wednesday, they accepted him. Super proud of our kids. Oh my gosh, talk about taking the initiative. Put in an application Monday, Tuesday, waiting, Wednesday, got accepted. So cool. Wow, that was a proud daddy moment. So there you go. Super excited. I mentioned episode 162. We have, once again, Emmy-nominated veteran anchor, author, Christie Casciano Burns. Check her out in the Syracuse area on NewsChannel 9, in the Syracuse area. Christie has written some great books. My Kids Play Hockey, Haunted Hockey in Lake Placid, The Puck Hog. Highly recommend if you are a parent of a child that plays youth sports, get these books. My Kids Play Hockey, Haunted Hockey in Lake Placid, The Puck Hog. Find her on Amazon. You can find her on Amazon and on Facebook for her Facebook page. My Kids Play Hockey. And her author page on Amazon. What other cool things she's done? Again, the Thunderbirds thing. That is so cool. I don't know if I could handle it. Could you handle it? What did she say? She said that she did 9 Gs. 9 Gs. Wow. That makes my face hurt. Because you see those videos of, people going through the training for that, and their face just gets so contorted. Is that the word? Contorted? Contortion? I don't know. What do I know? Anyway. So there we go. Episode 162. Christie Casciano Burns. USA Hockey columnist, anchor, a nice person, and we just had a blast. And I failed to mention to her before you and I leave. I failed to mention her that I hit record as soon as I see. So I use Zoom is one of the platforms I use to record. As soon as I see that she's in the Zoom meeting, I hit record right away, and I failed to tell that to my guests that I record right away, because you might miss something. You might miss something while having a conversation and go, oh, I should have hit record. Well, I hit record right away. So there you go. Thanks for listening. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for downloading this episode of the podcast. I look forward to hearing comments. I look forward to reading ratings and reviews. So however you get this podcast, please leave a rating and review. Check out our guests. Help support our guests as well. Again, you can find Christie on Amazon for her books, My Kids Play Hockey, Haunted Hockey in Lake Placid, and The Puck Hog. So please support her as well. As our good friend Terry Crews would say, remember, folks, please share this with your kids too. Understand that, their success will become their friend's success. All right? And I hope you can explain that to your kids. So there you go. Terry Crews, your success is my success. So happy to have Christie on this episode. Christie Casciano Burns, columnist for USA Hockey. You sitting there, or maybe you're on a walk with your puppy, which I'm jealous because I can't get Otis to go for a walk. And hopefully that, I guess, got to have some more patience with Otis, but that's okay. Or if you're on a run, you're on the treadmill, you're driving cross country, thank you. You have a great rest of your day. Stay safe, wear a mask. Yes, wear a mask. And I'm not just talking like a hockey goalie mask or a baseball catcher mask. You know what I'm talking about. You wear a mask. Let's flatten that curb. Let's flatten the curbs too. You know what? We're gonna start a new mission: flattening curves and flattening curbs. Yeah. Have a great day.
Hey, wow. You're doing so much. That's amazing.
Yeah, but I have never flown with the Thunderbirds.
Oh, well, yeah, there is that.
Yeah. However, have you ever driven the Wienermobile, the Oscar Mayer Wienermobile?
Yes, I have.
Oh!
And a Zamboni.
I used to work on
and a fire truck. Oh, you did? Oh, so yeah. That's nothing for you.
No.
And a fire truck. That was my thing 2 years ago. I wanted to know what it was like to drive a fire truck. And so this Amber Fire Department said, come on down. We'll let you drive the back roads. Took out a couple of trees. It wasn't that bad.
Well, my wife will top you because she used to be a volunteer fire
There you
person
go.
up in your neck of the woods
Oh, really?
Chatham, New York.
Chatham. Where's Chatham?
It's
I'm trying to think where Chatham is.
Small town on the Massachusetts border, I think.
Oh, that's way up.
Yeah, near Albany.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. That's about 3 hours, maybe 4.
Yeah.
Yeah. Beautiful there, though.
It is. It is.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, hockey. Side note here, since we're going to be talking hockey, saw Syracuse Crunch play Birmingham.
Okay. How'd we do?
Binghamton.
Oh, Binghamton. Yeah.
Binghamton. Yeah. Years ago.
They're still around, although everything's on pause right now. I hope we can all survive this.
And that's why I'm happy to have you on here, because I need my hockey fix right now.
Good. We'll give it to you.
And I'm so excited because here in the Denver metro area, they finally started opening up the rink where my son plays. He will be he's U18.
Okay.
And so excited because the last time he played was right before
March,
Corona.
right?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah. Oh my goodness. I know. We're lucky because my daughter, she plays for St. Michael's in Vermont, Burlington. And they just got through their season. So we were lucky. She came home for Easter break and then she never went back. But she got through the season. But there are other kids in our conference who are going to go on for the NCAA tournament. And there's my very good friend's daughter, her team was smoking hot. And they had qualified for the NCAA tournament after an amazing season. So they were going to go in there and they were going to take it all. This was going to be the year for them. And now they have no idea. And of course, they don't have the seniors that they have. So like, you'll have next year. It's not going to be the same team as next year, next season. So they'll never know. It's so sad. They were the incredible team too. And they'll never know.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. Heartbreaking.
That's a bummer. It is. And, as I'm looking out my front yard here, we have a sign. So my daughter is a senior in high school. Mm-hmm. And as I'm looking out, we have one of these signs that say, Class of 2020, we recognize you. Aww. And luckily for her, because her two sports were volleyball and basketball. Mm-hmm. And luckily basketball had ended right before it as well. And but my son plays baseball. No season.
That's right. Nothing.
But lucky for him, he's a junior. So you bring up a great point, Christie, is, all these seniors that have missed out. I mean, both, high school and college miss out that senior year. And it's just, it's a bummer, just a total bummer for them.
Yeah. You can only think of what could have been, what might have been.
So where did the fascination of hockey, I know you're a hockey mom, was it because of the kids or prior to that?
Strictly, no, only because of the kids. I did not like hockey.
What?
I was a figure skater.
You just lost points.
I know. But I've changed. You have to give me credit.
I will give you credit.
I've not only embraced it, I mean, I dove all the way in. I'm like, it's taken over my life. So, yeah, people can change. Let me know when we start.
We started. We started.
I'm so sorry. I thought it was just a little background talking.
No, this is all
I
good.
better clean up my act. I apologize to your listeners.
Why?
I'm not normally this. rambly. But anyway, okay, so
no, this
we're
is
on.
good. Yeah,
we're on. I'm going to tell you, I loved figure skating growing up, and I did a lot of figure skating. And at our rink, and I was in my teens, the hockey players always got the best time on the ice, and the primo everything went to hockey, and we were like the second class citizens of the hockey rink, and we got the scraps. And they would walk by us, and we'd be in our glittery, costumes and our beautiful smelling skates. And they walk by, and it was just horrible. So I never liked hockey, because I guess I was angry because they always got everything. Primo ice time, all the attention, everything. So when my kids started skating, of course, I started them in figure skating, and then they went to the dark side. My husband, who was not totally embracing my son was born first, and embracing him being strictly figure skating, he said, if our kid's going to skate, he needs to have a stick in his hand too. So equal opportunity. So I said, all right. We put a stick in his hand, and then he never went back. He just was a natural, and he loved it. So we put him with Learn to Skate Hockey, and it was a whole foreign world for me. Everything, the terms, just how to dress them. It was like I had been dropped on another planet. Like, what is this world? Thankfully, I had a lot of veteran hockey parents who gave me a lot of great advice and equipment and gear, and really kind of saw me through those early years that were really rough. I couldn't believe how you didn't have a weekend anymore.
Oh, yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
God. No sleeping in, laundry forever, meals, you had to get creative, homework, had to figure out how to do that and get to ice times and games and the traveling. It was overwhelming. But then I just started stepping back and saying, geez, my kid has such a passion for this. And look at the friends he's making. And look at the friends that I'm making.
Yes.
You spend so much time with this other family, and they really care about you. And then I just started embracing the culture, the whole messed up financial situation, and everything. I just, if I'm going to do this, I'm going to do it right. So you learn by doing, and you learn, by taking notes from other parents and learning from them. And then all of a sudden I just say, wow, my life has really changed, but I really love this, and I can't imagine my life without this. Then, of course, my daughter, who was doing both for a while, figure skating and hockey, eventually the lure of hockey, she went to the dark side too. So she hung up her figure skates and became a full-time hockey player. And boy, did she loved it. And she became captain of her team when she was young, and got on a high school team. They won a state championship. We did a lot of showcases, traveled all around the country. We were looking at colleges that not only provided what she wanted to study, but also perhaps an opportunity to play hockey. And she found the perfect fit at St. Michael's in Burlington. They're now a Division I hockey team, which is exciting. When she joined up last year, they were D2, and the conference has changed. So now she's D1. And the team was great. Her experience is amazing. And I love the fact that her college team does more than just play hockey, but they're very community oriented. And, they go to a nursing home and do, visits with seniors, and they would mentor children. And it's just, it's fantastic. Besides just playing hockey, she's just really become just such a great person, a very caring person. And both of my children, I think hockey had a lot to do with that. We were fortunate to be with teams that weren't just focused on winning all the time, but really helping to develop the child as a well-rounded kid with interest in giving back. you know,
Well,
which I
and
love.
that's a great point, because I remember when I first got into coaching, and I would have my parents, the very first parents team meeting, and I would tell them straight up, I said, I'm not here to teach your kids hockey. We're going to use hockey as a foundation,
Hmm.
but we're going to teach them life skills. We're going to teach
Yeah.
them, how to win, how to lose, how to be good, you know, teammates, how to be
Hmm.
able to use communication skills. If you have a question with a coach, if you have a question with a referee, if you have a question with another teammate. And so I firmly believe that kids, start young in extracurricular activity,
Hmm.
be it sports, be it music, because it can be life changing, and you're creating life skills. And like you were talking before, Christy, about juggling homework, it teaches them time management skills.
Hmm. Oh, yeah. So true. And I see that with my daughter now, and my son too. He's already been through college. He graduated with honors, but a lot of it had to do with, their first year. A lot of kids who didn't know how to do that, manage their time, were lost and were kind of, struggling. And my kids were really very, very good at figuring out when to get their work done, when to have their playtime, and how to be like, this is nothing. We've been doing this our whole lives.
Right.
This is really easy for us. So, because hockey is, any parent listening out there is a hockey parent, God bless you, because there's so many challenges on so many levels. We talked about the financial struggle, and it is, I always say, don't blink because it goes fast, and don't look at your bank account because that goes fast too.
It's gone.
But
Oh, it's gone.
It's gone. But as a parent, I think I became a better parent too, because you're really focused on making sure your kids are balanced. Like, are we going too far with the hockey? Are they spending enough time with their friends? Let's loosen up and let them just have fun and not put so much pressure on them all the time. And I really think it just kind of helped them become much more well-rounded. We're not the parents who say, my kid's best friend is having a birthday party and then there's a hockey game at the same time. Well, guess what we're going to pick? We're going to pick the birthday party.
Exactly.
I'm sorry. And we always made sure the coaches ahead of time say, that they're 8 years old. And I know that you depend on him being at the game, but if some important life event happens or something that's important for them to experience as a kid, we're going to pick that. I'm sorry. And coaches have always been very good about that. I've never had an issue. Just be upfront with them and let them know ahead of time. Hey, don't count on Joey to be at the game this Saturday. Why not? Explain it. Oh, okay. I think if you're fair to them, they'll be fair to you. And they understand that they have kids too. All these coaches are volunteers. They get that.
Oh yeah. Yeah. And especially, again, if that coach happens to have a child on the team, they're definitely going to understand.
Yeah.
Because, hockey's hockey, but friends, family need to come first.
Amen, brother. Now let me ask you this.
No! I see how this is. The reporter. Exactly. The reporter's going to try and turn the table. I love it. You're fine.
We're having conversation, right?
Exactly. Yeah.
Do you think, and your kids are involved in other sports and other activities?
Yep.
Is it my imagination, or do hockey parents seem to be more amped up?
Okay. So kids gather around the campfire. Uncle Tommy has a story.
Mm-hmm.
I've got two dear friends that have been on the podcast. One, my friend Scott Monroe, who he and I coach together. And then another friend of mine, Nate Harrison, who runs a daycare here in Denver area. And all three of us had this conversation about hockey parents, hockey coaches, even associations, because because even associations, I don't know how it is in the Eastern Plains where you're at, Christie, but associations get too political. And last year, 2 seasons ago, the first day of tryouts, the hockey director said, if you think teams are not already made, you're going to be wrong.
Okay.
So, for example, in the movie Miracle, where
Sure.
the beginning where Herb Brooks tells the whole group of, these college-age kids, or pretty much says, here's day one, I already have the roster made. He already had the roster made before those kids stepped on the ice. And it's not fair.
Okay.
That
Right.
is not fair. So
Mm-hmm.
to answer your question about hockey parents up, yes, I have seen ugliness. I have seen where, again, like we were talking beginning, I worked at an ice rink. I actually worked at the practice facility of the Colorado Avs. And we've had the police had to be called in, not for adult hockey, we've had that, but for youth hockey because parents were ugly in the stands. So yes, I do see, I have seen the ugliness of hockey parents. It's it's a violent sport. It's like football. It's a violent sport. And unfortunately, I have learned, because my son last year became a baseball umpire, I learned, you know what, you don't have to be a referee. You don't need to be that ugly parent. And so I made a vow to my son. I said, you know what, that's not fair to the officials. It's not fair to the coaches. It's not fair to the parents. Because I always told the kids when they came in to a visitor's building, I said, number one, you're representing the association. Number two, you're representing yourself. And number three, you're representing your parents. So I think parents need to remember that as well when they walk into, even if it's their home rink, who they're representing. They're representing their kids. So if they're that ugly parent screaming in the stands, imagine how their kid feels. So I've been on both sides. I've been an occasionally ugly coach and occasionally an ugly parent. So yes, I do see more amped up when it comes to
and I thought I was drinking all that bad coffee and sitting on the metal bleachers, but it's much deeper than that, Tommy, isn't it?
It is. It really is. Especially the bad coffee at 6 a.m.
It definitely has an effect on you. But hey, can we get back to the COVID? Because I just, I write articles for USA Hockey Magazine. I have a Hockey Mom column. So my assignment for August, because we write a month ahead of time, was to write about the pandemic and what life has been like for hockey parents. So I reached out to my closest hockey mom friends. I call them my squad. We have a squad. The squad help us. We all survived this pandemic because, there was no restaurants and no movie theaters and no going out and no getting together and no Friday night glass of wine. So we've been Zooming, and, we do our once a week, once a couple of weeks. If we're busy, it'll be, every couple of weeks. We've been getting together and Zooming, and we've been talking about exactly what my article assignment was, which is hockey on pause. And it's interesting because we all kind of came to the same conclusion. Everything was taken away from us. Our lives got put on hold in a way we never had seen. Talk about the ultimate roller coaster ride. You never know when that next turn is going to hit, twist. And when it got scary, you're like, oh, I wish I could get off, but you can't. So now here we are all riding this crazy ride, and our lives came to a pause unlike we've ever seen it. And we're all ended up saying the same things. Usually our families on the weekends, we're going in all different directions. John's got to turn him over here. Brett's got to go this way. And my daughter's got to go this. We're all over the place, splitting up. All of a sudden, we're all together. We're quarantined. And now we have to get creative because the kids want to keep training. They want to lose their edge. So they're doing, rollerblading. The basement gets turned into a gym. We're ordering equipment. We're finding apps. And all of a sudden, we're spending weekends together as a family. We're eating together. We're spending time together. We're getting into those, okay, let's just call it what it is, arguments.
Yeah.
Healthy discussions.
Yeah.
Yeah, discussions. But all of a sudden, we are drawing from all the things that we want our kids to draw from in sports. And that's learning how to be resilient and learning how to, you get knocked down, you get back up, and you keep looking ahead. And it's just kind of interesting. Some of I guess you look for those silver linings, and we all found silver linings. We're discovering what it's like to just slow down and just spend time as a family. And in some ways, this pandemic's been awful, and my heart hurts. And we lost 185 people already in our community from COVID-19. So not to take away from that, it's been devastating. But we have tried to find ways to just see some of the benefits of it as well. And maybe even some lessons that we can take away that maybe we are going a little too fast in our lives. Maybe we aren't taking time out for each other the way we should have. Those walks with the puppy and that kind of thing. So in some ways, there have been some stronger, and maybe we're a little bit better for it.
I'm going to tell you, it is so funny you say it that way, because my wife and I were on a walk, probably a month ago. And near where we live, they opened up a brand new path, and we wanted to go on that path.
Mm-hmm.
And we were walking back, and we actually ran into somebody I knew. And we were talking, and my wife said, the good thing, the positive, you're looking for silver lining. And this is my wife saying, I firmly believe that this is the world telling us we need to slow down.
Yeah.
And you're the third person recently that said that we need to slow down. And I agree. I really agree. And again, about resiliency, I look at it this way too, Christie, and that is, so for my son, he had a little bit of a panic attack. His mom emailed me saying, I'm letting him have a mental health day. I was like, sweet, cool. Part of it was he's a junior in high school. He's panicking about his grades for senior year. He's panicking about it's summer. And he already had jobs lined up. Like I said, he was a baseball umpire last year. He was already going to do that. He worked at another place, a entertainment type rental place where they have the big bouncy castles and snow cone machines. They rent all that, and he was going to work there. So he's having a panic attack because he has a car. How's he going to pay for gas? How's he going to, be able to, spend time with his friends? The silver lining was he was able to find not one, but land 2 summer jobs.
Wow.
And my thought process, though, for him was, why don't you, because he used to do, make these, the paracord bracelets that was the fad a few years ago. And we got to the point where we were actually selling them in 3 different stores, including the home rink.
Oh, that's awesome.
And I told him, I said, these are things to think about your future, because you're not always going to have these summer jobs. And he learned that lesson, that because there's no baseball, there's no umpiring, there's no being able to be in a big gathering of groups. So therefore, birthday parties are canceled, graduation parties are canceled. People are not able to rent tables, or not able to rent tents. Think about creating businesses. And I firmly believe part of teaching kids life lessons is the ability to think in different ways. I always remember Dr. Wayne Dyer. I can't say it verbatim, but he would always talk about looking at a situation from a different view. And I think what coronavirus has done for us, Christie, is had us look at life in different situations. If I'm going to be quarantined, especially if I'm working from home, what do I need to be
Right.
successful? And thinking
Yeah.
about my gym is closed, so how do I stay fit? What are my
Right.
eating habits? So I agree with you wholeheartedly that it did
Hmm.
slow us down,
Hmm.
and it also gives our kids other ways to think about, okay, if I can't play my sport, what else can I do? And sure enough, just like you said, like my son and his best friend have spent a lot of quality time at the
Yeah.
local roller rink and just
Right.
staying in condition, staying in shape,
Yeah.
but having fun. Having
Right.
fun.
Hmm.
Everybody's looking at uh, how, and yes, not to put any, um, uh, you
To
know,
make light
to make
of the
light of
serious. Right.
exactly.
Yeah.
But if we take a step back and go, all right, we can't, there are things we just cannot change.
Right.
So,
We can't do it. We don't know where it's going. We can't control this
yes.
virus, but there are things that we can do to control our own lives. And that applies in every aspect, even, making smart decisions, about where to go and how to interact with people. You're right. There are so many things to learn. But this pause in life, like nothing we've ever seen. And I really, truly think we've all discovered things about ourselves.
Yeah. For me, I am truly blessed as much as I am not a fan of my, as I like to call it, my dreaded day job. However, I'm grounded and I'm happy because I get to be home. I get to spend time with my wife, and it took her a while. It took her
Mhm.
a good. She's so used to me only being home on the weekends. It took a good month and a half for her to realize, oh, you're still here.
You're right.
Yeah,
Oh, you're still here.
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
A
But
good friend of mine works at
yeah,
a hospital, and she was sent home too. She couldn't go anymore, and her husband works early mornings, and she's not used to him being there in the afternoons when she usually goes to work. So he had arranged for her to go to McDonald's, bring your laptop, get a cup of coffee, and sit in the parking lot like you're going to your office. That way
oh
we won't
yeah,
get on each other's nerves.
yeah.
So she had to develop a routine. I mean, yeah, you get creative. Like, okay, we're on each other's nerves. How do we work this out? So they found a way. That's funny.
Well, one of the things again about positiveness, what you're saying about having family dinners. How
Yeah.
great is that? I
Oh,
mean,
I know. Yeah.
again, like especially to use the hockey parent analogy, your weekends are tied to whatever time that game is, wherever that
Correct.
game is, what
Mm-hmm.
is available around the
Yeah.
rink. So
Mm-hmm.
I I don't know. I like the old fashionedness. I like that
Yeah.
ability to sit and I try to tell the kids when put the phones away, but
Right.
I don't
That's not
always
going to
win.
work.
No,
it's,
no, no.
it's an extension of their arms now. But I really think that maybe if we can just take a little bit, and I know it's going to get back to craziness once hopefully we get this virus under control. And we're lucky in New York State, we've actually are flattening the curve. So it is getting better and things are starting to open up. Thank you, God. But when we do get back to our lives, maybe we could just kind of take a little nugget of what we've learned and maybe take some of those well-deserved breaks, you know, like take a weekend and say, okay, we're not going to do that. We're going to just spend time with each other, but that'd be so bad.
Well, one of the things that I really want to talk to you about is your USA article Behind the Glass,
Oh, yeah.
and especially the April May issue, and that
Okay.
really brought some positive memories in my life. And to the article is, you shared other people's memories, off ice
Yes.
memories
Mm-hmm.
overshadowing the wins and losses.
Mm-hmm.
And I think this is really apropos because right now, again, there's not a lot of the gathering, but having those memories, having the
Mm-hmm.
ability to read that article about other parents talking about the positive,
Mm-hmm.
the fun. For me, my story is why I got into coaching.
Mm-hmm.
I wrote this blog piece many years ago called "I Cheated and Got Caught,"
Mm-hmm.
which was about how when I was divorced, I wanted to spend as much time with my son.
Mm-hmm.
And the way to do that is, luckily for me, my son got into wanting to play hockey. And so I went to the coach. I said, hey, I play hockey. I'm a goalie. I would love to help out. I pretty much got down on my knees and begged because,
Yeah.
again, I want to spend as much time with my son.
Mm-hmm.
The following season, they said, hey, you're going to be a head coach. I'm going, you guys are idiots because I am not head coach material. But what
It's
it did, Christy, was it did start creating memories and events, and especially when my son Connor got into travel hockey, and you're going
mm-hmm.
to out of state tournaments.
Mm-hmm.
And so your article really brought up some great things because, again, as a divorced dad, you want to spend quality time with your kids. And again, knowing how much not only does hockey cost, as a goalie dad, that's expensive. You've
Mm-hmm.
got travel costs, you've got tournament costs,
Mm-hmm.
but the money is meaningless. It really is. It's just, currency.
Right.
Time,
Mm-hmm.
that's the more important currency. So
Mm-hmm.
I really loved, and I wanted to say to you, thank you for sharing those memories from the other parents and putting it out there in your article, because it my son and I will still talk about, out of state tournaments, even, local ones, driving up to the mountains and, stopping for lunch, talking, um, driving up, going to his games, spending time, in the hotels, and then letting him just be independent, letting him go run around with his teammates and having fun. So I just want to say I loved
Oh,
that
I'm so
so
glad.
much.
Thank you. I love sharing other, tidbits from parents because I think there's nothing like a hockey village, and we all share so much in common. We've been through so many of the same things that I try to, reach out to parents from all around the country when I write those articles. And I find out just how much we have in common. I mean, you might be from New Jersey, you might be from California. We all experience pretty much the same trials and tribulations. And it's kind of neat to hear from all these parents from all over the country. Like I said, it is a community, and there's really nothing like us. We're a very unique breed.
Well, and a very
Well, we're
unique
the best,
smell. There's
also.
a unique smell too to being a hockey
Oh
parent.
my gosh! And that's one of the reasons why I wrote the book. My kids play hockey is because I wanted to just put everybody's experiences all together. And I mean, we tackle everything in that book from, how to handle, you know, weekday meals to, raising a coachable kid to volunteering, which is so important. More parents need to get involved in their kids' teams because just like a team, it takes team to run it. It takes a whole team to get a team successful. And rather than sitting back complaining about everything, step up and help out. We don't travel enough, or how come we don't do this, or why don't we do this? Well, guess what? There are so many people who are running this team. If you're so, upset about it, Well, arrange it. No one's stopping you. I
Right.
cannot stand those complainers who just sit back and just complain about everything on the team. If you don't like it, get involved, roll up your sleeves and make it better. If you think you can do a better job, you're more than welcome to, make phone calls. You go ahead and set up the next tournament. Oh, I'm sorry. It's one of my pet peeves. As you can tell, it just drives me crazy.
All right, Christy,
The
you mentioned
whiners.
you mentioned something, especially from your book, My Kids Play Hockey, about do you have a coachable kid? And in the January issue of USA Hockey, your article
Mhm.
Behind the Glass talks about, do you have a coachable kid? Here's where I take an issue with the article.
Oh, here we
Yes,
go.
yes, because I went back and I read it, and
Uh-huh.
um, the dad, Kevin.
Kevin, yeah. He was fantastic. You should have him as a guest sometime. He's really great.
I hope
Sports Dab Hub.
Well, I hope he doesn't hate me after saying this,
Okay, go ahead.
but it's not always about having a coachable kid. It's about do you have a coach who is coachable? And here's why I bring that up.
Okay.
Part of the ugliness that is a spotlight on youth hockey
Mm-hmm.
are the coaches, where they are dropping. And we just had a coach this past season, my son's coach, who would be dropping F-bombs on the bench.
Oh, dear.
He was, when you think of all the ugliness of hockey, youth hockey,
Mm-hmm.
he was the epitome of it,
Oh.
which was sad because he was a nice guy, but
Mm-hmm.
he felt that winning was everything.
All right. Well,
There
that's
was
a bad
no
coach.
development of kids. So that I think that, do you have a coach who is coachable? Do you have a coach that, and he was not approachable?
Mm.
And that, and I understand, do you have a coachable kid? Do you have, when you hire somebody, are they coachable? Are they trainable?
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
But reverse engineer it. Is
Mm-hmm.
that coach going to develop our kids? Is that coach going to teach them life skills other than winning? Winning is,
Mm-hmm.
not everything.
Mm-hmm.
I want a coach that is going to be able to say, listen, we're going to do our best every single
Mm-hmm.
game.
Mm-hmm.
If we win, great. What did we
Mm-hmm.
learn from that? If
Mm-hmm.
things aren't going well during a game, I don't want that coach dropping F-bombs. I don't want that coach screaming at kids. I want a
Mm-hmm.
coach that's going to develop.
Mm-hmm.
I want a coach that brings, you know, positivity to the team. Yes, they're going to be, our kid needs to be sat down. He makes, uh, which looks like a blatant head check, things like that.
Mm-hmm.
But it's like any company. It starts at the top. When it
Mm-hmm.
comes to, a team, it starts at the top.
Mm-hmm.
So I
Well,
understand.
that your organization needs to pick good coaches. And now, let me ask you this:
Yeah.
when you were seeing this behavior that was unacceptable, and a group of your parents saw this, did any of you go to your organization and say, this is not what we want for a coach? This is, our kids are not learning from this, and they're learning all these bad habits. Did any of you
Yes.
address it? Oh, you did.
Not only
in your
was it,
organization.
they waited a little too long to make the coaching change,
Huh.
but they did make a coaching change, and it was actually perfect timing because it
Okay.
was our January. Yeah, January, a tournament we had in Florida,
Mm-hmm.
and a lot of the kids, they checked out. They just they were tired of it. And my son, who, I don't know how he does. I don't know how he has so much resiliency. But he still showed up to every practice. He still showed up to every game. But once they made that coaching change, Christy, the whole team changed. The dynamics
Okay.
changed.
All
Going
right.
to that tournament, those kids were hungry.
Mm-hmm.
They wanted to win for that coach. They wanted to win for each other. Prior
Well,
to
and
that,
that was a
it
good
wasn't
lesson, though.
it was.
So now they know the difference too. And someday in their life, they're going to have a bad boss.
Exactly.
No one's perfect. Now, we had a coach that was difficult. I want to say he never dropped F-bombs, but a group of us parents felt like he was not being an effective coach and kind of putting kids down and not building them up, tearing them down instead. And our organization right away pulled that coach off to the side, had a long talk with him. And then he apologized and he learned from that. And he admitted to all of us parents that he didn't realize that his behavior was affecting the kids that way. And he changed. So I think parents do have a lot of power, especially now. I don't think organizations are going to tolerate that type of behavior anymore if there are enough of you that complain about it. So just with a little caveat there, yes, we need good coaches, but if there's a bad coach in there, people need to step up and speak out. I don't think it's going to be tolerated anymore. There's a different climate now.
I hope so. I mean, right now, though, you're starting to hear more and more stories from within the NHL of players that were playing junior hockey. How
I did read
badly
that.
they were bullied.
Yeah. And guess what's happening now, though? Everyone is saying, no, this is wrong, and we're not going to tolerate it. I think the culture's changing for the better. And I don't think kids are afraid to speak up anymore, because now they're encouraged. If you see something, if something's wrong, if this behavior is wrong, you need to speak up. Don't be silent anymore.
Right. And I think that's where, again, good leadership
Right.
for our kids, teaching that life skill of,
Right.
if don't be afraid to speak up.
Right. I mean, there are so many good lessons that our kids are learning from hockey, and they're not all great, as you just pointed out. But there's, I hate to go down that dark side of it, because for our just personally, our experiences have been pretty awesome. I mean, amazing. And I wish that for every family. And if it's not happening, find another organization that works for you. Speak up. Don't be quiet and just say this is okay. It's not acceptable. It's your kid. You have every right to fight for what's good for your kid. But I do have a moment, if I can just have a moment of just how amazing our experience is. But we actually got to go to Norway.
Wow.
So we were approached by, and it was through my articles that this gentleman reached out to me. He had some contacts in Norway, and he wanted to bring a group of girls over to help the girls there learn how to skate, because even though skiing is big and football, as they call it, soccer, is huge for the girls, they all play it and ski, hockey is really more of a boys sport there. So they wanted to bring a contingent of teen girls over to skate with teen girls, who to them, they were like, our girls were like rock stars, they just loved everything about American teenage girls. So it was so much fun. And the girls actually just were so hungry for learning how to skate from other girls, and they would tell us, like, well, we play football, or we ski. We don't, and hockey's not really a big thing with us girls. And when they saw our girls out on the ice, they just everything changed. They said, yes, we can do this, and it is something that girls can do equally as well as boys. So we've had some amazing opportunities through hockey, and I just can't say enough good things about where it's taken my life, from someone who as a kid didn't really understand hockey or even like stinky hockey boys to someone whose daughter now plays in Division I college hockey. I mean, I've really come a long way, and the opportunity's been amazing. I've, become a columnist because of it. I've written books because of it. I never thought I would become an author. I always thought I'm just going to be a news reporter.
Right.
And it went beyond that when I started seeing things and felt very passionate about it and just wanted to write about it and help other hockey parents. It changed all of our lives.
Well, I got to tell you a story. So I was coaching one of the teams, and I had 2 girls on the team. And
so this was a boys team or?
It was a boys team, yeah.
Okay.
And then later in life, I learned, no, they're no girls. They're just hockey players. I'm like, I wish I had realized that when I was coaching. But I had one player, her name was Lucia, and my son just happened to reconnect with her and telling me, man, it sounds like very similar path as your daughter.
Mm-hmm.
And Lucia, she was just a funny kid. She was aggressive, but at times she would hold back. And during one of the games, I said, Luch, go ahead and take the shot. You can take the shot. And she goes, girls don't shoot. I said, whoa, hold on. And so we had another girl on the team. And to this day, we never knew what her real name was. We only knew her by her nickname, which was Monkey.
Oh,
and
I love that.
So I said, Monkey, come here. Tell Lucia that she can shoot. Mm-hmm. Monkey looks at her and goes, yeah, you can shoot. Heck yeah. So
that's great.
Next shift, Lucia gets out there. Not only does she shoot, she scores a goal. And she comes back to the bench. I'm looking at her going, hello?
There you go.
See? And so
that's a great story.
It was just it's a life lesson as a coach you learn because the kids aren't always thinking that they have that opportunity to do the same things.
Right.
And so I was just like, it was a little bit of also a proud daddy moment when she did that, because I know her dad. Her dad actually now runs our girls piece of the hockey association. And I feel bad for him because he has, I think, 4 daughters. There's a lot of estrogen in that house, and I'm just like,
he's
way
blessed.
too much. Yeah.
What a lucky man.
Yeah.
Also, I just want to point out, I've written children's books too. And the first children's book I wrote, and it was based on my daughter's experiences, Sophia, when she was 8 years old, and she was on an all boys hockey team. She was the only girl on the boys team. And she struggled with one of the most talented players on the team who, they were 8 and he looked like he was 12. He was just more developed and longer legs and faster and very skilled, and had been skating since he was 2. Just skated circles around everybody. And he became what they, were calling the puck hog, which is the title of the book, the puck hog. But what I love about that book, especially if you put it in the hands of kids who are just learning how to be teammates, it gives them a sense of the importance of, sharing and caring and looking out for each other. And even though they may think they're the star of that team because they're scoring so many goals, they really aren't helping the team develop as a team.
Exactly.
So it teaches them some good lessons about the importance of passing. Because the older you get, obviously, if you don't have a good passing team, you're not going to get very far. Early on, it's great when you have kids who can score because you're going to win all the games. Good for you. But in the end, the rest of the kids aren't developing and they're not having fun. So the story became something I kind of just wrote in the bleachers, throughout her season. And it became this kind of really neat story. And I love it. And it's done really well around the country. Parents have written me and said, thank you so much, because, we have a puck hog on our team too. And our children know how to deal with it. And we put the book in their hands, and it just helped them learn some coping mechanisms and some kind of look at the bigger picture of teamwork and selflessness and sacrifice, which is all the great qualities of hockey, which you can learn when you're 8 years old. So I just love that book. So if you have any parents out there listening who are struggling with kids and they've got some puck hogs on the team, it's on Amazon. You can order it, and it's a great life lesson book. So,
well, that's why I was always fascinated. For example, like the Russian Red Army, because to use hockey terminology, they were always creating time and space. So it wasn't who had the puck, it was who didn't have the puck, which was actually more important than the person having the puck. So they are, skating around and developing, that sixth sense of knowing where each other, their other teammate is. And you bring up a great point. If you're the puck hog, you're not helping.
Right. Yeah. And the coaches can fall in the trap too, because you want to win, and they know putting this kid in, you're going to win because he's better than all the other kids at his age, because he just happens to be more developed. Like they yell out to him, "Hey, check his driver's license," that kind of a thing. So,
I think that kid drove here.
Yeah, that kid drove here. No, he's 8, just like your kid. He's just a little bigger. So, but that was a fun book to write. And I was fortunate because the Syracuse Crunch, actually, the manager of the Crunch, his son was on the team, and he loved the story, and he kind of pushed me into getting it published. So we went ahead and got it published, and it's been doing well. And then I wrote a second book, which is Haunted Hockey in Lake Placid. So
I was going to ask you about that one.
Yeah. So I wanted to, Lake Placid, I just have so many fantastic memories. For my son, it was just the ultimate experience when his team got to travel there and play on that historic venues. And it's just an amazing experience. If no one has ever been there and you're a hockey family, you need to get to Lake Placid. You will not regret it. Yes. It's just beautiful. It's just amazing. And pop in the Miracle before you go there, so you'll be all amped up. So I wanted to do something a little more fun. So I thought, well, my kids got the idea. Why don't you, throw a ghost in the story, and why don't you make it like your own Miracle on Ice with these kids? So that's what we did. And fortunate for me, I have a sister who's an amazing illustrator, and she drew everything by hand and in pencil. She wanted to do that because she wanted to show kids that you don't have to have computers and graphics to be creative, but if you have a pencil and a piece of paper, you can do some amazing things. So as an artist, that was her goal, to inspire the artistic side of the kids. So I kind of try to encourage more of the moral and, just being good kids, and she wanted to make sure she got the artistic side in there. So we teamed up, and we did that second book, and that did really well too. So especially around Halloween time, kids tend to buy it around there. Haunted Hockey in Lake Placid. That's fun.
Well, that's beautiful that having family involved in that.
Yeah, we turned our dining room into it was incredible. She was doing all these different drawings, and she had Sophia pose for her. And I was like, "Mom, can I get something to eat now?" No, she's not.
No. Yeah.
Don't you move. But it was a lot of fun. We had a good time with that. And my husband also, he rewrote a couple of things. He goes, "Oh, he gave me some ideas on, what we should do with the kids." And my sister actually had him pose for her, and she took a picture, and he's the ghost in the second story. So there's a little trivia for you. It was a lot of fun.
Is that on his resume too?
It's on his resume. Yeah. I'm the ghost in Haunted Hockey in class. So thanks for that on that.
Well, Christie, I want to honor your time. I know you're a busy news reporter out there in the Syracuse News Channel 9.
Yeah, we have a lot of news coming up today. I know that we're continuing to follow the coronavirus pandemic, and we also are having some protests in our city as well. And they're a lot of community issues that we need to deal with and figure out. And as an anchor, it's an important job to just help guide our community and inform them as best I can. So, yeah, and all that. I'm a hockey mom too. So, but aren't we all? I mean, is that typical of a hockey parent? You just like have a million things going at a time. But it's fun. I wouldn't trade a second of it. I love it.
Can I tell you? Here's a little pet peeve of mine. Here's a pet peeve of mine, because you are a hockey mom. So every tournament we go to, my son, we have a tradition. He gets a hoodie from every tournament.
Yes.
And
I get one too.
Every time I say to the people that are making the hoodies,
Mm-hmm.
I said, where's your hockey dad little logo stuff?
Oh.
And they look at me like, what?
Yeah.
I'm like, you have all these hockey mom stuff. What about us hockey dads, goalie dads, things like that? So I'm going to throw that out to anybody who is a graphic designer, who does T-shirts, hoodies, things like that. Don't forget us dads. Hello.
Yeah, I know. I feel sorry for you, especially goalie dads. Whew, man, you guys are crazy. First of all, you're pacing behind the net. You social distance long before social distancing.
Oh my gosh, you know us so well. That is so true.
Yeah, you guys are social distance king. You're the gangsters of social distancing. You have nailed it.
Real quick story. So this last season, my son and the other goalie, and it was awesome. They became really good friends, and the dad and I became good friends too. And so it was funny because we would both encourage each other depending on whoever was in net that day. We were so supportive. But you're right, Christy. We would still, the opposite end of the rink, being alone, because we don't like to be around other parents.
No.
Because it's like that old E.F. Hutton commercial. Your kid lets in, you just feel everybody looking at you, going,
everyone's looking at you.
Your kid just let in that goal.
Yeah. Yes.
You know us.
You poor things. I feel so badly. Now, and the goalie moms, I don't know if you've ever seen this, but some of them sit way up in the corner with a clipboard.
Oh.
And they're like left side. They kind of note every shot that went in. They have a record of it.
Well, I used to do that.
What side it went in.
Yeah,
where,
I would always,
where the weak spots were.
I would always make whoever the backup goalie was for that game. They were the ones in charge of the clipboard and shots.
You need to stop that. Just really, please. You need to stop that. Just relax. Let them play. Okay?
Oh yeah.
That's all I'm saying.
Exactly.
That's what I'm saying. Just enjoy it.
So, Christy, before I let you go and hit the airwaves there in the Syracuse area, Christy, what has changed in your life in the past 12 months?
Changed in my life in the last 12 months. Boy, there's a long list there. Besides the coronavirus, I mean, that's really changed everything in our lives. How I work, how I communicate with people, how we socialize, dealing with my family. Yeah, that's a lot.
Are you reporting from home?
I am not. I'm still going in, but many of my colleagues are working from home, which is very challenging in our business. So I haven't seen some of my colleagues in months. And we Zoom, that's how we connect, or they'll feed back reports and I'll look at them in the editing bay, and texting, cell phones. And I miss them all so much because we're a pretty tight-knit family at News Channel 9. So it's been rough. Our whole sales department's been working from home. I haven't seen them. Yeah. And, it's kind of sad too, because my mom lives with me. She's 95. So my sisters have been keeping a distance just because we're trying to be really careful around mom. Obviously, she's in that high-risk category. So, yeah, a lot has changed, my friend. I'm really looking forward to getting back to normal. I don't know about you, but yeah, I'm ready.
I don't know what normal is anymore.
No, what is normal? I've never really been normal, but
I know
somewhat.
I haven't. I mean, especially
And that's why we're doing this.
Yeah, that's why I've taken several pucks to the head throughout my goalie career.
Oh,
So
now that explains a lot.
it does.
So Tommy,
yeah.
I have to tell you that I just want to give kudos to you because it's really amazing everything you're doing and getting the message out there and helping families figure it out. So I just want to take a moment to thank you for that and let you know how much you appreciate it.
Oh, thank you, Christie. And can I tell you, I'm like a kid at Christmas every month or a couple months when the USA Hockey comes out. I read it before my son does. Well, mostly because it's the timing. If it's a weekend, I don't have him, so I go through it, and the first thing I do is I go to your article. I have to. I got to go to your column first. I just love your writing.
Oh, thank you. And we got to get you in that column. Actually, I've got to work on an article after the coronavirus on the importance of a pre-team meeting. And I think you're the guy to talk to about that.
Oh, well, thank you. Oh.
All right.
But Christie, thank you so much. I'm so honored. I'm honored to have you.
It was so fun. Tommy, that was a blast. And it went by so fast. I can't believe we talked for an hour. Oh my goodness.
You know what? That's
seems like it was 10 minutes.
I recorded a podcast earlier this morning with a gentleman out of the UK who's doing some amazing fatherhood. And he said the same thing. He goes, "What? That's an hour already?" Like,
wow.
I'm just honoring your time. That's all. That's it.
All right, my friend. We will be in touch. Thank you so much for the opportunity. And I hope everyone enjoyed our conversation. It was a great one.
Wait, before you go, please, one more time, give a shout out to our sponsor. This episode was brought to you by Pod Hero, the easiest way to support your favorite podcasts. Did you know that only 1% of the biggest podcasts make money? I'm not even in the 215. I don't even like milk. That's a little milk joke. But it's true. The other 99% rely on support from listeners like you. With Pod Hero, you can support all of your favorite podcasts, and hopefully I am one of them, at a low monthly fee of only $4.99 a month membership. Just click on the link in the show notes for this episode. Tell Pod Hero your favorite podcasts. Again, Blending the Family, that's what you just listened to. Please make sure I'm your favorite. Okay? Your contribution gets shared between shows at the end of the month. Pod Hero works with almost all podcasts. There's a 0% platform fee. They don't take a cut. There are no contracts. And you not only get a 30-day free trial, you get my undying, devoted love for the rest of your life. Pod Hero. Thanks for listening.